Hello, my dear pharmaceutical colleagues. Pharmaxis 0007, in connection with Manoj Creation 0007, brings to you a knowledge enrichment center program empowering pharmaceutical success. Today, again, we are back with pharmaceutical healthcare snippets, which will be basically covered as a basic database in a very consolidated and simplification manner. This will help you for the audit and compliances. Detailed guideline exposure will be elaborated in the due course of the subsequent sessions. This will be a concept-based series which will be run in subsequent sessions and subsequent modules, covering the latest in industry, what is the current industry for the pharmaceutical domain. Any query, the answer can be reverted back for me to answer in written. So today we'll be covering pharmaceutical healthcare snippets on old Schedule M versus new Schedule M as a Schedule M update. As you know, the Indian drug standards are distributed across a total alphabet series, that is A to Z, wherein we are bound to comply all the standards as per the respective criteria and the requirement of the industry. Now, as regards Schedule M is concerned, which is main focus on today's snippet, that is good manufacturing practice, will be covering in a brief manner, wherein you are going to get the detail of what is revised in the current scenario. Now, if you see this slide, you will be having a revised Schedule M against old Schedule M detailing done with some differences, what has been upgraded so far. Now, as we know, the GMP origin has been first incorporated in 1988 in Schedule M of the Drug and Cosmetic Rule 1945, and subsequently, based on the lot of brainstorming and empowerment of pharmaceutical domain, the requirement for facilities and the maintenance, personnel, manufacture, control and safety testing, storage and transport of materials, written procedures and records and traceability has been amended in June 2005 WHO GMP. Now the time has come that again there is a revision subsequently in August 2, 2023, notified by the Ministry of Health with the timeline given as a 6 to 12 months for every industry to comply with the revised Schedule M guidelines. Now the basic industry is of two different types, that is greater than 250 crore has to comply with 6 months timeline, and less than 250 crore a timeline of 1 year. Now let us understand why we need to revise this and implement this revised Schedule M. What are the benefits for the Indian market? The Indian market will, in subsequent days after compliance to the standard of drugs, will promote exports, promote innovation, and also to build trust and confidence in the quality of drugs manufactured and sold so far. Okay. Now when we talk about modules of this Schedule M, the earlier part of the Schedule M was having Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 was stating good manufacturing practices for premises and materials. Part 2 was stating good manufacturing practices for specific requirement of plant and equipments. Now, as regards new Schedule M is concerned, the Part 1, this good manufacturing practice has been replaced with good manufacturing practices and requirement of premises, plant and equipment for pharmaceutical product as a main principle. Now, whenever there is any audits happening, this part will be common for all the audits because there is no product category mentioned in this Part 1, and the appendix which will cover this Part 1 will be a site master file. Now as regards Part 2 to 12, this is again divided into Part 2 to 12 and Part 13. Part 2 to 12 will cover good manufacturing practices and requirement of premises and plant and equipments for pharmaceutical product or product category based specific manufacturing requirement. Now earlier there were 6 categories in Part of the Schedule M, which are mentioned as 1A to 1F, that is 1A stating sterile and patent preparations, 1B stating OSD, that is oral solid dosage forms, 1C stating oral liquids, 1D stating topical preparations, 1E stating metered dose inhalers, and 1F stating active pharmaceutical ingredient, that is API, that is drug substance. Now additional 5 categories has been added in Part 13 as displayed on the screen. That is, the first is external preparation, second is oral liquid, third is tablets, fourth is powders, fifth is capsules, sixth is surgical dressing, 7 is ophthalmic preparation. 8 is pessaries and suppositories. 9 is inhalers. 10 is repacking of drug and pharmaceutical chemicals. And 11 is sterile or parenteral preparation. Now, as regards this revision of part 1 and 2, now we have in new schedule M part 1, part 2 to 12 and part 13 in specific. Now, as regards change controls are concerned, this is a very fundamental criteria. The change control details were not available in old schedule M, but now as a change control management details incorporated in new schedule M. So these were all covered under schedule M in IPA, Indian Pharmaceutical Association, Drug and Cosmetic Act and Rule, and schedule M. So again, the further focus on the other aspect of the revisions is displayed on the screen. That covers the loan license and contract agreement and other activities which were not a part of the old schedule M. Now these activities as a contract arrangement, roles and responsibility have been incorporated for the product quality enhancement. Now as regards self-inspection, quality audit and supplier audits and approvals, limited aspects were covered in old schedule M, whereas the new schedule M will give you newly added as separate principle with specific requirements. Activity is more clarified and extended beyond self-inspection toward supplier approvals through quality audits of his premises and processes as per the requirement of WHO GMP guideline TRS 986. Now we have seen the regulatory guidelines also. We have seen a lot of international norms which are prevailing for different inspections. Especially ICH Q10 focuses on the pharmaceutical quality systems, which were limited in old schedule M. Now it is more elaborative, newly added as a separate principle and specific requirement under the compliance of WHO GMP guideline TRS 986. Now good documentation practice, that is GDP, general principles of good documentation practices and electronic documents were there, but now the ALCOA based approach has been principally adopted by this revised or new schedule M for global standards. Now GMP production is the basic aspect of any manufacturing unit. There were limited aspects of which are covered under schedule M old version, now newly added as separate principles with specific requirements. Now GMP for quality control, again in a similar manner, limited aspects were covered in old schedule M, newly added as separate principle with specific requirement in revised schedule M. The GXP, that is computer systems, were limited aspects were covered under old schedule M, and now it is newly added as a separate principle with specific requirements. The quality risk management and quality record reviews were also limited coverage in the old schedule M. Now here there is more elaboration on quality risk management, because these are basically the principles covered under ICH Q9, that is quality risk management. So mandatorily stipulated product quality review on annual basis has been designed in this revised schedule M with the specific requirements as per the WHO GMP guideline TRS 986. Now GMP pharmaceutical products requirements were already covered as an aspect of the old schedule M, but now the practices has been incorporated in the newly revised schedule M. Qualification and validation, this plays a vital role of any industry to get the machines, processes and controls in place. So the process validation, that is PV, minimum emphasis was laid down in old schedule M. Now equipment qualification along with the process validation has been strongly emphasized on the revised schedule M modules. Next parameter is complaint and recalls. Limited aspects were covered under the old version and now newly added as a separate principle with specific requirement, detailed requirement of complaint management. As regards product specific manufacturing, 6 product specific manufacturing requirement were there in old schedule M, which we have already seen in previous slide, and now 11 product specific manufacturing requirements have been incorporated. So this is again a total depth brief scenario of the revised schedule M under the schedule M IPA or Drug and Cosmetic Rule and Act. So as regards all these snippets of the Manoj creation under Pharmaxis 0007, we would like to invite you to like, share and subscribe or feel free to comment for any revision or latest update under this global regulatory pharma guideline for us to enrich each other. Let us upgrade your factory to Schedule M to be on the competitive pharma global business front. All the details has been shared on the screen for you to connect and collaborate with us so that we make this upgraded version of the regulatory aspect strong enough to our respective industry or respective company. Thank you all for patient listening and concentration throughout my slideshow. Thank you once again.